Pokemon card speculators, investors, we've got Sword and Shield down 20% according to some market movers data.
And now if you don't know, now you know.
That I just pulled up. I use market movers to track my sealed collection and some of my Pokemon singles as well, my sports card stuff. When I say Sword and Shield is down 20%, really we're looking at singles. So they're tracking 100, 150 singles, kind of those primary hits, if you will, out of those sets. And they're down about 15 to 20% over the last 90 days. So let me make sure I get the context there. Over the last 90 days. Charizard cards that they're tracking, about 130 Charizard cards, up 10 to 15% over the last 90 days. And then we've got the sealed stuff, which is a really mixed bag. And so that's what we're going to talk about here today, my friends. If you do like the non-sports card channel, these videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos. I'm doing 1 to 2 videos a week on this channel, and we will keep them coming. All right, let's dive into it. Sword and Shield, in no particular order, let's look at Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, and Silver Tempest. They're all in one bucket here. So Lost Origin at about $660 a box. Over the last 90 days, minus 2%. Really, it's just flat. It's flat over the last 90 days. Brilliant Stars, about $580. That's up from about $500 90 days ago, about 30% up, actually. So 25 to 30% up for Brilliant Stars here over the last 90 days. And then Silver Tempest is up about 11% over the last 90 days at $440 a box. I just bought another Paldea Evolve box, of course, that's Scarlet Violet, and I got it for $400. And now I'm thinking, like, should I have just gotten like another box of Silver Tempest? That's always something I struggle with, is should I buy kind of more of the Sword and Shield? Should I buy more Scarlet Violet? I understand the Sword and Shield is older, but, you know, there's instances where, you know, the Scarlet Violet set, maybe that's just a better overall set than that particular Sword and Shield set. It's always tricky, but that's part of the fun strategy. All right, let's look at the next batch. We've got Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, and Chilling Reign. I don't have any Evolving Skies booster boxes or Fusion Strike booster boxes. I do have a few Chilling Reign boxes. So for Evolving Skies, we're at about $2,400. And these boxes have been, I've seen these in the kind of that $2,100 to $2,400 range over the last 90 days. They seem to be kind of sticking right there. It's about 5% up if we're looking at kind of $2,200 to $2,400. So largely kind of flat over the last 90 days. Evolving Skies hasn't broken through kind of that next ceiling. I think there's a lot of people that probably made a lot of money on Evolving Skies. And I've got to believe there's a lot of people that are taking profits on Evolving Skies on those booster boxes. And so they're still kind of churning through at about $2,000 to $2,400 a box. And that seems pretty consistent. Fusion Strike got all the way up over $1,000, $1,100. It's retreated back here over the last, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right at $930. It's been pretty flat. It's showing minus 3%, but really it's just been flat over the last 90 days. But keep in mind, Fusion Strike got an absolutely insane boom. What was it? A couple $100 a box going back a couple of years. And now, of course, $900 to $1,000. It's 4, 5, 6x'd from just a few years ago. So a lot of people, I think, again, selling off Fusion Strike. If it's got up to $1,000 a box and you're in it at 100 or 200 or 300 or whatever, I mean, that's some serious upside there. Chilling Reign. I do have some boxes of Chilling Reign. It's at $485. Again, just looks pretty flat, up 5% over the last 90 days. And again, these are boxes where I'm considering adding a couple of more here and there as they do pop up. I just don't know if there's going to be a spiral downward on a lot of this stuff. Maybe there is. I think the one thing that we've got to figure out is you have at the very beginning of Sword and Shield, there was about 2 or 3 billion cards a year that were produced in 2019 and 2020. And then when we get into 2021, that's when it really started to ratchet up. That's when it got to 8, 9, 10 billion cards, those sets a year, meaning that the print runs are just a lot higher when we start moving into more of that Sword and Shield and into Scarlet Violet and what we have now. There's just a lot more cards out there. So I think that's something when we're comparing this era, Sword and Shield, against like a Sun and Moon, really difficult to compare the two, because even though you might say, oh, well, Sword and Shield just has better overall sets. Yeah, but I mean, the print runs on Sun and Moon are like very small in comparison to what these are now. So are these sets that much better? You know, there's a whole supply-demand thing that plays into that. So that's where we are. And then we've got kind of our last batch here. Again, I didn't touch on all Sword and Shield, but we've got the main ones are here. Astral Radiance, $380, been pretty flat, plus 0.5% over the last 90 days. Vivid Voltage is up about 16% over the last 90 days at $282 a box. And then we've got battle styles. I've got some of all of this stuff, $260 a box, and that's at plus 1.24% over the last 90 days. So you can see that there's been some movement up. Brilliant Stars, Vivid Voltage, Silver Tempest have moved up some. But for the most part, a lot of Sword and Shield has been flat over the last 90 days. And to be honest with you, I really hope that all of 2026 is this way. I hope it's a flat year. And I know a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. Don't you want your stuff to go up in price? As a long-term holder for booster boxes and some of the other ancillary products, I do not necessarily need to see it go boom and bust, boom and bust. I want to be able to buy in and get more and more of it here over the next, the plan is really over the next 5 years, between like now and over the next 5 years or so. I started buying December of 2024, so a year and 2 or 3 months ago. I'm happy with the stuff I have right now, but I would be very happy with a flat year to where I can just kind of add in, maybe even a down year. Look, if booster boxes went down as a whole 10, 15, 20% in 2026, I don't foresee it happening, but I would be ecstatic by that. It did shoot up very quickly, and so it could happen, but just Pokemon stays hot. It feels like the whole thing is just staying very hot as we head into 2026. There are more products, though. We are seeing some stuff that is available more at those MSRP prices. It's definitely cooled overall the last 90 days, but it's still strong. There's still a lot of demand for it. I would love to have a flat year and just be able to buy up more of this stuff. Where are you guys at with this? Are you selling off everything? Are you buying more? Are you looking at just Scarlet Violet? Are you completely done with Sword and Shield? What is the strategy? I'm very curious to hear kind of what you all are doing here. But for me, it's mainly booster boxes, and I really want to try to add, I only have a couple of the Prismatic Evolution Super Premium Collection boxes. They're kind of those rectangular ones. I'd like to add more of those because I think right now they're like $220 to $230, maybe at a show like $210, $220. But I would like to add more of those, maybe 5 to 10 more. But I just can't find enough of them in bulk. So if you have them at that price, please reach out to me. That is a product that's not a booster box that I would like to add more of. I know that there's a lot of people that are high on Prismatic for obvious reasons. It's just a great set. I'm not going to pretend like I've got super nostalgia for Pokemon and I like, all the art and all this stuff, but I actually just think that the Prismatic Evolution, like the SIRs and those cards, Umbreon and a lot of those SIRs, I think that they just look really good. I think those are really great looking cards. And you see it with just raw cards that are still expensive there. The chase cards are expensive, and then the PSA graded versions are expensive. And speaking of PSA, if you've never used PSA before, get $25 off your first submission over there with the SCD25 promo code. I've got a promo code for you guys, and I do get a commission when that code is used, so thank you for supporting the channel. We're going to continue to grow out the non-sports card channel here. I'm the sports card dad over on my other main channel, and it's the non-sports card dad over here, and I really enjoy buying the sealed stuff and just holding on to it. I've got a lot of Minecraft. I have a whole nother video to make on that coming up here over the next couple weeks. So friends, thank you again for tuning in here. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.